drew me a line at a 1/2 inch deep. That's where the truss rod is going to sink to. I want like 3/16 of meat at the nut end, at the peak of the carve, and a little more, 1/16 more than a 1/4 inch over it at this end. So there's not a whole lot of meat between the truss rod and open air, but learned the hard way. If you wind up making your neck too thick for, strength, then the truss rod really can't do what it needs to do. So a 1/4 inch seems a little excessive at the nut end, and a little less than enough at this end, because this does need to taper a little bit too. So we got our face planed, we got our head planed, picked nut placement. Now that we're here, one of the big things next is to do the neck taper. Then we can get some ears on and work this down to thickness, and we'll be off and running. So I guess that's going to be our next step. Okay, I line up the nut line of my template with where I actually plan on the nut being, and then with calipers, because this blank is square right now, we can make sure that the template is actually centered. Now, so we will tap these lightly, and then we can readjust once we take this off and see how that lines up on our actual center line. I would love to find a quicker, easier, better way to do my taper. To the table saw! This is one of the scariest parts of the whole damn build. I'm thinking. To the other side. Next big thing is digging out the truss rod. I want to flatten our back first. It's not essential to do that, but I'm kind of anxious just to get it cleaned and to thickness, and yeah, so. Good enough for now, I think. We were pretty tight at 2 points. One is the slip into the volute, and the other, we got a little deep in our cutaway for the heel. This will work out. It's not, the depth is not much, and we'll probably want to thin down this end a little bit anyway. This, I think it's pretty close to our final, so I'm fairly confident that's going to work out too. Because we're down to our line to about right there. So all of this needs to still come down a little bit, but I don't want to mess with the volute until we got ears on. So, and we'll shape it from the headstock side, and then this will come up pretty tight. This is a more gentle slope, and this is a tighter slope, so it just isn't right now. So, 2 little points I'm worried about, or slightly points of concern, but I'm fairly confident they're going to work out all right. So, but we're down to close to thickness, and we're nice and flat on the back, so I'm happy. Just verifying that it is centered all the way, both ends. Now, just kiss it. Just want to stop real quick and just double check. It's hard to see at that angle, but it is as centered as it could possibly be. And we went right up the line I wanted to go to. So, well, that's a plus. Ways to go. Alright, that appears to be perfect. Now, I love the StewMac spoke nut truss rod, but it adds a little bit of complication. To accommodate that spoke nut, as you can see, I forgot what the width of this is. It's a wacky width that requires a proprietary, well, maybe not proprietary, but a specific goofy width cutter bit that StewMac sells for $500,000. So to use this truss rod, you got to have that bit. You may be able to find it somewhere else, I don't know, but in any event, the barrel of this is wider than this. So the slot we dug out is perfect width for most of the rod, but the barrel here is a little bit wider, so we've got to open up for that, and of course for the spoke nut. And like I've drawn here, we sunk to this depth, so that this sinks just perfectly into the neck, and this is a 1/2 inch. But as you can see, that barrel is a little higher than that, and it doesn't go as low as our full 1/2 inch. So a little bit wider, not quite as deep. We need to open up an area for this, and of course we need to open up for the spoke nut itself before we can actually place that truss rod in place. Another side effect is when it comes to getting a fretboard ready, we'll have to hollow out just a tiny bit on the back of the fretboard to make room for this. But to do that, somebody once made fun of my fat ass template. The thing is, the reason that template's so fat, I have a 1/4 inch cutter bit, but the spiraling is pretty long, so I've got to get it extended to the point where non-cutting shaft is exposed to ride on the template. So we got like I don't know, 1.5 inches of template. Alright, now right now that gives me about a 1/4 inch cutting depth, which I think is enough. I don't think we're deep enough. Just a little too tight in there. Just take the corners off of that. I think we'll be alright. Yeah. Awesome possum. Perfect. Perfect, actually. Now, before we can actually mount the fretboard with this in it, we need to polish that poor thing up. But, we got it sunk. Yay us. Thanks for joining me. If you like what we're doing, if you're digging it, like and subscribe. Catch you next time.